Okay, so my house is getting work done on it because we recently moved in and the person working on it is playing Call Me Maybe really loudly downstairs. So I'm gonna have to sort that out. Anyway, moving on. Today we are going to be reviewing the latest episode of Twilight Out of Focus, a new, currently airing boys love anime. You know I love my boys love, or do you? No, you don't, because I only have 5 subscribers and have never uploaded a video like this before. But now you do know. Now you do know that I love my boys love. I love my anime boys kissing. I am a huge fan of that. Anyway, moving on. So this new episode officially has me like intrigued by this show because it's absolutely not what I expected. Judging by the marketing and stuff and the way that the show was described before it came out, and by the way, I'm not familiar with the manga or anything, I expected to be quite a simple, boys' love story. Judging the way that the plot was about, oh, Hisashi and Mao meet at school and they're making a boys' love movie. I thought it would be kind of meta. Like that would be the furthest they would go. It'd be kind of meta, but otherwise, kiss by episode 10, it would be the average slow burn high school BL story. However, something happened in this episode which really took me off guard, and I've heard a lot of people saying that it implies that this is Banana Fish inspired. If you know what Banana Fish is, you probably know where I'm going with this, but heavy trigger warning for people who need triggers. This episode deals with the topic of grooming and SA. I think that the way this was depicted in this was quite tactful. A lot of anime and manga have a big issue of not dealing with these topics correctly. Example, the recent chapter, I think it was chapter 13 of the JoJo Lands on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So basically, Hirohiko Araki tried to depict sexual violence against a transgender character. And, Araki's never been particularly tactful when handling essay, but, he has the right intentions there. He's trying to look at these bad people hurting Dragona. If you've read the recent chapter, you know what I'm on about. It's a lot to get into. Anyway, moving on. The way that it went for Hisashi was his stepsister started coming on to him. Well, I think that was sort of a weird way to get from point A to point B. It did its job, and the upcoming stuff, it was worth it. It was worth it, even though I think that was a bit of a weird way to, come about it. But, okay, moving on. Okay, Hisashi doesn't want to go home anymore because obviously his mother believes that he is assaulting his sister. He tells his teacher that he doesn't want to go home anymore. By the way, he's 15 at the time. His teacher is probably in his 30s or something. He tells his teacher that he doesn't want to go home anymore. And his teacher says, "Oh, that's fine. You can come home with me." And, Hisashi is quite vulnerable here. And the teacher decides, "Oh, as long as you're in a relationship with me." So, they get together and start doing things, and it's grooming. He took advantage of Hisashi just as he needed it the most, and then they dated for years. It's fucking ridiculous, absolutely awful. And towards the end of the relationship, Hisashi really gets to chew him out, call him straight up, just say he is a pedophile. He straight up said, I think he calls in the manga, he calls him a lolicon, which I don't think that's the right wording, but whatever.
Certified lover boy, certified pedophile.
It was realistic in the sense that he got taken advantage of at a really low point, and then he finally got to have his moment and fight back. And I loved the scene of him just running back to his dorm and being like, I wonder what Mao is doing now. It's freedom. It's freedom. However, I have one gripe about this episode. One. I think that this was, pretty good overall. However, I watch quite a bit of the Thai Boys Love series, if you didn't know. With a lot of them, they confess right at the end of the series. It takes them quite a few episodes to, and the episodes are like about an hour, so it takes them quite a few episodes to confess, and it's quite slow burn. They don't do anything sexual until like the very end. I like my slow burn romances. However, on episode 2, Mao is already confessing, and I'm wondering, what are they gonna do with that? I remember I was reading the My Anime List forums and I found someone who said that Mao confessing right away is realistic because obviously teenagers are very fucking weird, and they'll just say random shit sometimes, and I've been like, okay, but this is a story. It's not my preference for them to confess this early, but maybe it'll pay off. Maybe I'll get more fan service moments or whatever. There's clearly a reason for this decision, and I don't know what it is yet. I'm a bit worried, but whatever. We'll see. We'll see. I also saw another opinion on this, just for context. The scene where Mao confesses to Hisashi is right after Hisashi has come home from speaking with his abuser and, absolutely chewing him the fuck out. Like, he comes home and Hisashi is like, oh, yeah, so I got broken up with, I got hit, it was not great. I'm glad that I'm with you though. And then Mao instantly confesses. I heard an opinion that I think I quite agree with. It felt sort of as if Mao was stealing Hisashi's moment, which didn't feel very nice. I can understand why someone would have an issue with that. Also, one other issue I have is the fact that we don't really know Mao yet. We only know about Hisashi. The only things we know about Mao is his opinions on Hisashi, and it's almost as if he's just a husk, like Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, he's just a husk for us to experience the story through. So I'm hoping he gets some more development in future episodes. There's gonna be another episode tomorrow after I go to work because got a job, gotta get that money, even though it's volunteer work, so I don't get paid. Gotta get that work in. After I come home from work, like after an hour, the new episode's gonna come out. I'm gonna watch that right away and maybe make a review. So yeah, moving on, moving on.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.